Hello and welcome to another Primo Calcio cast. Today we're going to be going over Match Day 21 and some of the catch-up games. I am Michael, as usual, here with Anthony. How you doing, Anthony?
I am great. It was a wonderful week, and I'm super pumped, especially about well, it's sad, the Bernabe news, but I'd like to know, Bernabe's gone, but what is to become of the Eagle?
Yeah, what
No
happened?
one,
Yeah, what happens to it now?
no
Yeah.
no one cares about the
Mm-hmm.
Eagle. It's all about, Bernabe's dong picks, but the
Yeah,
Eagle, no one
that's not
cares
very
about.
sensitive.
No,
That's not very good.
he's flown his last flight
Yeah.
in front of the masses. All because his
What
own.
a legend of the game.
Yeah, exactly. Gone too soon.
All right, let's kick it off with catch-up games. Then we'll get into the current ones. We'll go Milan Como 2-1.
Hmm.
I think I had a couple of predictions here, right? And I don't know how I
That
did
was
that the
right.
week
I
after
think you got.
mine.
I think you
Yeah.
got two of them correct.
I got this one and the
Yeah,
Atalanta Juventus
yeah.
one for sure. Well, this game here, Como looked just as good as Milan. At times they looked better, at times they looked worse. It was a very, very even game. Milan is definitely not looking like they're not looking like anything they could do, like a team that could actually do something this season, even under Conceição. Yes, he's only been there a little bit. You do see a little bit more motivation. I see guys like Rafa working a little harder, guys like Teo working a little bit harder. And it is, I think you're saying before this, it's the usual suspects
Same
typically.
guys.
You got, yeah, I mean, who are the main
It's
main guys you
Teo,
think for?
Teo and Leao every time. Those are the guys making come and Pulisic. But it's the same guys. Milan's stinking it up, not concerned about the game. Then all of a sudden they become interested, and their three best players are the ones who make the difference. It's
Yeah,
every time.
always is.
Yeah.
You're gonna see a lot more inconsistencies now too because Pulisic has been the most consistent player. Like even when he's a little bit off, he still shows up at some point. He can have an off 60 minutes, then boom, he pops up big for a huge goal. Now that he's out, you're really gonna be relying on Rafa, on Reinders, and on Teo, and that's it. And that's the same people who brought him back in this game. After Como's goal, which was a little bit of lax defending by Teo and a bad goal let in on the near post by Mike, who's been hit or miss this season. Teo gets Milan back into it, and then Rafa finishes it off with a great pass from Tammy. So same guys. Milan, I don't think was. I could have definitely seen a draw here based on how they were playing, but they did pull it off, and it was a pretty important win for them.
Yeah, I think we got another Conceição X Factor game here. I think he must have smashed the TV and again and inspired the troops at halftime to pay attention, to give a shit. So
I think that what you're gonna see here is it's gonna be a lot of Pioli style stuff where because you saw these late comebacks happen under Pioli, you're gonna see them happening under Conceição. You even saw a few under Fonseca, so maybe it's just a Milan thing. It doesn't really matter who the coach is, but
that's
we'll
true.
see what happens. It's still early on with the in Conceição's tenure here.
Yep. Well,
All right, next Atalanta Juve.
yeah, it's another one you got right, and this is for me another typical Juve performance. We get an early goal, go up 1-0, and then shortly thereafter, we just fall apart. And we're not trying to lock down matches. We're not like doing parking the bus here. We're still trying to play, and we're trying to get a second goal, and that just leaves us totally exposed. And we're not good enough to do that to close a game out. Really, we're not. So just lack of class, lack of character, and it's a 1-1 game. Absolutely, Cambiaso's fault on this one. Savona did his best. He got railroaded by the best striker in Italy right now. But what's his name? Cambiaso loses out on a header to Bellanova. That's just unacceptable. And yeah, that's the state of things right now. But another 1-1 draw. But all things considered, um, Atalanta is not in good form, but they're still it's second place in the league at the time, third place, whatever. Not a
Yeah, I
terrible
mean,
result. I mean, we're a fifth place team, so
it's the same stuff over and over again. I
it
mean,
is.
I think I was reading or not reading. I think I heard a stat that I think Juve has lost 14 points from the lead
Yeah.
this season.
Hmm.
Like even if you use half of that, they're in a drastically different spot. I mean, it's crazy. And this is not a Juve team when they go up and they always get scored on. It's more common than not that they don't know that they actually get scored on. you're used to Juventus teams, no matter what era, just locking things down, especially if they get an early lead.
Yeah.
It's very hard to break them down. Now it's like it's expected that you're going to get a goal or two on them.
Yeah,
It's
I
crazy.
really don't like it. And just when I remember watching a lot of Bologna last year, but the key game was when they played us, and we had Montero as the coach. They got up what 3-0, and we came back on them and won or drew a 3-3 at the end of the day. That's a pretty embarrassing result. And I'm kind of seeing that with this Juve. It's like we got to be able to close out these games. I know we have a poor defense, and I know we're covering up for it. But I mean, really, there's no excuse for just losing your duels, um, not getting the loose balls, not just clearing stuff out, just playing it safe. I mean, trying to building things up. That it's just not very tidy play, very immature, very unprofessional, and a supreme lack of class and character again. But like I said, this wasn't the worst example. It is Atalanta. We're a poor. It's sad that Juventus is a fifth place team and Atalanta is a second place team, but those are the reality of things. So being
That is where we
realistic,
live right now.
that's where we live right now. But
Yeah.
it all happens. Serie A has been tough this year, and the next game for sure, Inter Bologna 2-2 draw. That goes to show things aren't so easy at all in this league. It's a tough league.
Yeah, Inter Bologna 2-2. First goal was a really nice read from Castro.
Yeah,
I don't know who made the initial shot, but it's a really nice, just good reflex. Um,
Castro's
intended
awesome.
deflection. Very smart. He's a crafty player. He definitely has a good head on his shoulders.
Yeah, I really
So
like this
that
player.
was a good
Yeah,
goal.
yeah, he's gonna be a good one.
Tying goal from Inter. It was the usual suspects: Thuram, DeMarco, and then Dumfries has been fantastic this season. So he came in right place, right time. He's been having quite a season. And then I think it was Inter who went up again, didn't they?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it
Inter went
was
up 2-1.
a
Yeah,
Martinez goal.
Lautaro got on the
Yeah,
scoreboard.
he's been playing a lot better
Yeah,
recently. And well, I guess we'll talk about him in the more recent match. But
yeah.
yeah, it was Demarco to Martinez. Demarco with another assist, and then
Home.
Bologna catches him. It was
Yeah,
a home goal, and I think it was a relatively quick score after Inter scored, and then
yeah. It
they
was
kind
like
of sorted
15
out for the
minutes
next 30
after.
minutes.
Yeah, right place, right time. Home buried it. Beautiful stuff. I mean, um, Orsolini was pretty good this game. Um,
Yeah,
what's his face? Freuler was okay. Castro was awesome.
Castro was
I
good.
mean,
Yeah,
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 Castro
Castro
was
was
really
good.
good. And Holmes um he's a good fighter, man. I like him.
Holmes all right.
He does
Yeah,
good stuff. He does bad stuff, but I like his edgy game. It was good stuff.
I think Odegaard's been having a pretty good season too.
Yeah,
He's not a player who I would be like, oh, is special or anything like that, but just notably, he's having a pretty solid season. So
I mean, I like players who put in a good a good strong hard-working shift, and that's certainly
yeah.
what he does. All right, now those are the catch-up games.
Yep. All right, we're just gonna go in order
Yeah,
of games based on the typical list here. We got the overarching theme was that most teams who should win ended up winning, with a couple, I guess, not really upsets, but a couple shifts here. So a couple people could not capitalize on this week. So
yeah,
first off, Roma Genoa. Roma definitely needed a win, and they did a
they
good three
won for
one.
sure.
As we like to say, it is all about Dybala. When he's having a good game, Roma's probably going to win.
Yeah.
When he's having a not so good game, Roma's definitely going to lose. They're all in on that guy, and nothing's really going to change.
No, I mean he's awesome. I mean he brings players into the game. Salamaker's he's having a great run here. Kane was excellent. Um, yeah, I mean and Dobik's hold up play is really good. I think he's been doing a really good job since Ranieri got there of understanding how to play a striker in Serie A. I mean, there's a lot less. I think with very few exceptions, a lot of strikers struggle when they come here. There's not a lot of space. Um, it's just a lot dirtier, tighter, more tactical, and he's figuring it out. He's actually
I think he's
I think
actually
he's
getting
coming good.
better.
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
he's getting better.
Yeah.
He's not wasting as much motion and whatnot. He's becoming much more efficient. He's becoming a little smarter. I think Delvik's actually improving as the season goes on.
He's doing really good with his hold of play, and his like one touch passing, his link up with Dybala is great. I mean, and he's also got Dybala to work with, which is a huge advantage. But he's getting better and better.
Yeah, big win for Roma. So
Yeah,
hopefully they can kind of continue. They need a huge string of games because they're so far back.
yeah, it's
Um,
gonna be tough. But I mean, hey, it's
yeah,
teams are losing.
yep. I mean, 27 points right now. Fiorentina has got 33. However, if you're trying to get into fifth place, which would have been their goal at the beginning of the season, Juve's got 37 points. They're already 10 points off, so it's gonna be really hard for them to crack top five. I don't think it's possible. I think they gotta shoot for Europa League, and that's a
Oh,
definite
that's fine. Yeah,
possibility.
Europa
So
League's
yeah,
totally yeah. Europa League's
that's probably
absolutely
where Roma
reasonable.
belongs right now, anyways. So
Yeah, I agree. It's
all
reasonable.
right, Bologna, Monza,
Oh, Bologna just took
Bologna.
care of business, huh?
Yep, I think that was pretty expected. I don't think any
Yeah.
of us thought Monza was going to continue
No.
because they had that first win under Bocchetti. I don't think that was like, oh my God, he's just gonna rock the boat here. No, Monza still sucks, but they might surprise you here and there. Bologna needed to get to work, and they did.
Yeah. No, and Ferguson's working his way back full time into the lineup. I think he played the whole game here. That's a big deal.
That's really good news for them.
Yeah, he's such an awesome, cool customer, man. Calm on the ball, good work rate. I mean, he's awesome. And so yeah, it's a huge player for them to have back. I think Bologna is one of the best built teams because they obviously didn't spend a lot of money. Sartori and
No, no,
DeVio
not
have
at
done
all.
a great job with the building of this team. They have they're not super deep, but they have a lot of good talent, and they're deeper than you'd
No,
think
but
for a
bringing
team with
in
this budget.
Castro and Dominguez has worked out so far. They both performed right away. And then I mean
Well,
Castro got
Castro
him
was there
a
last
score
year.
sheet again.
Yeah, he was there last year.
Yeah, he's like their main guy now
He's
that
their main guy
Xerxes won,
now.
of course.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah,
but
he's stepped up.
he's really exploded onto the scene. I think he's actually I don't know, better is hard to say, but I think he's more of a natural striker, obviously, and he's gonna be a
Yeah,
better fit than Xerxes. Xerxes, you never know, he might not work under certain coaches because he comes back a lot. So, but Castro has been very good, and Dominguez has been impressive. I think every game I've seen him in, so he's
well,
just a good player.
fun stat that I saw at this point last year, Thiago Motta had one less point than Italiano does now.
Yeah,
Which, hey,
basically the same performance.
losing your coach and what, three of your best players plus
Two, yeah.
two plus Ferguson, that's a
Yep.
pretty big deal. So they've done a really good job
No, they have.
in
They did a
Bologna.
fantastic job.
Yeah, definitely credit to Italiano and Sartori for that. Let's see if they can keep the ball rolling. It's Italiano ball is still very much like Gasperini ball, very susceptible to very loose on defense, and that is going to cost you, and that's going to cost you critical points at the wrong time. So
Yep.
if he can somehow tighten that up, which he's not going to, because that's just his way. But they're always going to be a fun team to watch, and they're always going to be dangerous.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that Italiano's been doing quite a good job. I've been more impressed by him this season, just with the team he has under his tutelage here and how well they've actually been doing. So
Yeah,
big win for Bologna. They needed to get back on the front foot, and they did. Next on the list is actually both of our teams playing against each
yeah,
other. Probably like there was two huge games of this week. That was one of them. So Milan, Juve. I think this was the first time you predicted a Milan win.
yeah. I did.
Just because I think you're just feeling down on Juve at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
I predicted a tie. If anything, Milan maybe winning, but I predicted a tie because I just can't not pick Juve tying. And it was not. From my take, the second half was dominated by Juve for sure. First half was quite even, and Milan actually had the more dangerous chances, I thought. They looked like they were actually playing more like Conceição style. They were sitting back, soaking up pressure. They weren't doing the best job of it, but they were doing it. And then they would break out on the counter and look super dangerous because they have a very, very fast team. And that seemed to be like what Milan wanted to do. That's more Conceição style. So, all right, this is kind of like, I'm sure Milan fans aren't used to it, but it's kind of seems like it's Conceição's game plan. Second half, Juve continued to do what they were doing, and Milan stopped being able to counter, and that just it all broke open. So
I
I thought
mean,
Locatelli had an excellent
oh
game.
yeah,
He's always been very, very good, but he had no actual mistakes this game, which is kind of what you counter, right? He's always good, but he might have like a mistake or two. he had no mistakes. He was flawless. I thought he was top notch. And then Mbangula, of course, was excellent. I don't know. Give me your take on the game.
I mean, I totally agree with your first half assessment. I think that Juve, we every single game for a long time now this year, we typically control possession. We look like we're really good. We don't really do much with the possession, but it looks, at times looks nice. And yes, Milan had the chances Milan had were much more scary, um, and it looked like Conceição was, and that was his game plan: absorb, 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 hit him on the counterattack. And it was working because we weren't really doing anything with our pressure, and the counterattacks were dangerous. So it seemed to be working. 0-0 at half. Second half, I mean, honestly, I don't think Milan even came out. I think they still were in the locker room. I mean, we were getting every single loose ball, winning all the duels.
Yes, they're winning all the, like the those like loose balls, all the challenges. Were like you know how it goes. Like when you're playing like I don't mean like just watching. You're actually playing, and one team's getting there. You know who wants it a little bit more. And yes, like there's a massive deflection off Real's foot, but guess what? Fortune favors the bull, just like it did when in the Supercopa when Milan got those massive deflections. Well, they made their own luck. Juve did the
Yep.
same thing with the first goal. I mean, you make your own stuff there. So I won't accept any like, oh, look at that deflection. It doesn't matter. Juve dominated the second half.
Well, Juve maintained the intensity, and after the goal, so get up 1-0. I'm like, oh, here we go again. I mean, we've seen this every single game this year. Every single game. If there's one team that's got the class to rise above Juventus easily, we saw it in the Supercopa. I mean, Leao and Teo are still the best players in the field, and it just didn't happen. They just never got into the game. I mean, it was. Um, Yeah, I don't know. I was joking around. I was saying, maybe Conceição just ran out of TVs to break. There's a certain point in time where your motivational halftime speeches start to wear out and start to fall on deaf ears. And
Yeah,
it's just, guys, do you want to play?
it's early, of course. I mean, it's way too early. What I'll say is I do see more effort from Layout in general. He was actually tracking back and making some tackles, which is incredibly rare for him. We'll just see what happens. But I mean,
Yeah,
honestly, Milan is a it's a poorly built team on top of a lot of prima donnas,
yeah.
and you're bringing in a guy who's pretty hardcore, trying to make these prima donnas not prima donnas immediately. That's pretty freaking hard to do, and I have a feeling that if things don't go really well in the next several weeks, Conceição is probably going to irritate the management because he's going to buck heads with them. I
Oh,
don't think
he
this
already
guy
did.
like
Did you hear what he said in his
not
interview?
stand losing, man. I honestly think he has a lot of like Conte similarities. This guy does like he lives and breathes the game, and I love it. He's gonna battle with the management. You just know it, and honestly, I'm here for it. I think Milan's management needs to be exposed like ASAP. So
I mean, I'm super envious of your coach. I really like him. I like the way he plays. I think any good coach is going to want to bring his guys in, and especially a team that's going to play with high character and play with battle the way Conceição wants to play. There are very few players in the modern game that have that grit factor. Very, very few.
yeah,
So he has to have a couple of his guys, not just to get you through games like this, but to get you through practice weeks, to get you through those hard, horrible practices.
yep,
When you got your little bitches in the locker room whining about stuff, they call them out. They hold them accountable. You need to have your guys that are bought into the system to make the other guys buy into the system. And there's just nobody right now on Milan that fits with what Conceição wants to do. And or maybe there are, but there's not enough of them. So
there's a few,
yeah,
but it's not the overarching theme. That's not the identity of Milan. I mean, and even like Conte would have totally struggled with this roster. The first thing
oh
Conte
yeah,
would do is say, "No, I need my guys, or I'm not coming."
he would never
Right?
come in
I'm
halfway
sure
through a
it's the
season.
same thing with exactly. The Conte saw price on opportunity, said, "Okay, fine," but he's gonna need some support. They need to get him a few players in the winter
Yeah.
mercato if this is gonna work. If they don't, then honestly, the everybody should just protest against the Milan management again.
Well, I think they're bringing in Kyle Walker.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't think that's gonna do anything. I get it because he can actually play some defense. He's a little older. He's won a lot of things. They're going for the experience, and honestly, anything's better than Emerson Real. And obviously, Calabria is on his way out. It's not a bad free transfer. I don't love the signing at all. There's plenty of other options I would choose. I understand why they're doing it.
What if?
I think it's funny that they immediately realized their mistake with Emerson Royale, but it's
Well, that's
just a joke.
good. But what if they bring him in to play in a three-man back line?
So I would love it. That's the thing that I'll talk about when we get into our like Milan breakdown. So I won't get too deep into that because I think that's actually something that you could and should do. I think it's actually the way to go. But we'll get into that stuff later when we do our whole Milan breakdown. But
Yeah.
that's the thing to do there. Something I will say is both goals. So first goal came off of Emerson Royale's side. And I'm not worried about the deflection. There's not much you can do on stuff like that. I mean, I don't give Gatti any fault for his deflection. I don't give Raul,
No,
but he kept the guy inside.
he did.
That's what the real problem
I
is.
mean,
He
he didn't
kept the
even
guy
know he
inside
was
leading
there.
to the goal.
Yeah.
No, he's clueless. He's an awful player. He's terrible.
Yeah. When the ball went
Second
behind him, he
goal,
goes, "Oh crap, someone's there." Turn around. Yeah.
he doesn't know what he's doing. He's a joke of a player, and we're already trying to look for places for him to go. Second goal came again from a Fofana giveaway.
Oh, total.
Wasn't
Yeah.
as bad as the first one, and then there's nobody covering behind him because he's the D mid. So themes stay the same. Midfield is butter.
Yeah. It is.
All right. Anything else on Juve Milan? Since I guess that'd be the
No, I
longest one
didn't.
we do since it's both our
I mean,
teams.
we can't spend too much time on the fifth and eighth place teams. Let's be real.
Yeah,
There was a
isn't
battle
it
for this.
crazy?
There was a battle. Dude,
Yeah, that's
how the mighty
crazy.
have
That's a toilet
fallen,
bowl
huh?
pattern.
Yeah, it is a
Yeah, that's a
toilet bowl.
toilet bowl battle.
Yeah.
Crazy.
The
All
battle
right.
for the Scudetto here, though.
Yeah.
That was the best
Now
game
a
of the
real
week.
game.
That was the best game
That
I've
was a
seen all
great game,
season.
man.
Awesome game.
That was a top level game. Every minute of that was intense. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Amazing tactical battle.
Yeah.
Awesome. Just it had everything. All the boxes checked. Really, really,
We were
really good game.
on different sides of the fence here. I thought Napoli would take this about 2-1, something like that. I just figured that this is the time. I think Conte's got him this time. I think you're afraid because I know that you're pulling for Napoli to take the Serie
Yeah.
A right now. So you're like, oh shit, here
Yeah,
comes
I like
Atalanta.
Napoli a whole
Yeah,
bunch. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, they pulled it off. I think this shows a lot about Napoli's character. I think this shows that everybody's bought into Conte's system. And this was a huge win, not just for the points, but to show that Napoli is here for the title.
Yeah, I mean, Atalanta has been off form for sure lately, but Retegui comes back, gets a goal against Juventus, comes back, gets an absolutely beautiful goal to open up the game here. And I think what the announcer was saying, I don't know when it's like when or maybe it was the guys at the mid match panel. They said, when Napoli goes down a goal, it's not really where they want to be. I was a little bit nervous about that because but then I was thinking,
Yeah.
lately they've been putting up they've been scoring goals. They've been getting after it, and Atalanta's defense blows. Gasparini, if Italiano doesn't like to play defense, Gasparini hates to play defense, and this is why his teams always fall off, and this is why he's won one trophy in the past 80 years of him coaching, and this is why I don't ever want him on one of the big three teams. I think he's perfect on Atalanta. He's doing a great job with them. This is exactly where he should be because, I mean, really, if you look at the goals, and I don't know if you got them pulled up, Mike, but check out
Yep, I got him right here.
Darun's responsible for two of them.
Darun is
Not
is
picking up a guy, not picking up Politano.
I think he's done. And
Yeah, he's
Darun
done.
is as a higher level player, he's done. He
He's done.
gives you like some nice furrowed brow, angry looks, and he seems like he really cares, but he's oftentimes behind his man. A lot of big goals. It's very much so a theme right now. That I've been seeing. So yeah,
Yeah.
Darun it cannot lock it down. So
No, and he didn't pick up McTominay. He didn't pick up Politano. If your center backs are
no,
going to be chasing people around on a man-to-man coverage all the time, like that's absolutely essential that your Darun picks up these runs. And I mean, I'm pulling for Napoli for the title here, so I'm glad he didn't. But yeah, he's just directly responsible for the first two goals
yeah.
for Napoli. Yeah.
Sometimes they get away with it because Ederson covers so much ground.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you don't have a midfield partner next to you who can pull some of their own way, you're going to be screwed. It was unique that Retegui and Politano scored almost incredibly similar goals there.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So short side just bangers.
Yeah. Goalies. I don't think either goalie, even though the angle wasn't the best. I mean, it's so close to the net and such a powerful rip.
Yeah, I mean they probably could have done better, but I don't think they're at full blame
No,
there. So
I'm not blaming the keeper for either of them. I mean,
no,
honestly, Di Lorenzo didn't stay tight enough to Retegui, but it was just a great turn and shot. And then, I mean, Di Lorenzo, I mean, Politano was all alone.
yeah. Lookman's goal was awesome, though, man. I mean,
Yeah, Lookman's goal was sweet.
his little move to get around Di Lorenzo, like
Yeah.
he is just like Di Lorenzo is committing. Lookman sees him coming. He just a little tap to get around him. He knows it's happening. You know, a
Well, then
different
it looked
person
like
would have
Politano
maybe
got it too. It looked like Politano stole the ball from him, like
almost,
on the back track.
He got there, but and then he takes this quick snapshot. It's amazing, man, and perfectly
Yeah.
placed. This
The
guy's
guy's
wild.
awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome, man.
He wasn't even
He's
playing his
awesome.
best game up until that point, I thought, and it's like that's just how dangerous he is, man. It's just like give him a
Hmm.
shot, and 3v1 it
That
goes
guy's a
in.
gamer, though, man. He
He's an
always shows up
absolutely
in big games.
yeah. I'm
Always in
never
big
worried about
games.
him. Yeah, in a big game.
Yep.
It was odd the
Um,
subs though. You just the he took out well, he, all of them, right? He took out the whole strike force. He took out Lukman, Retegui, and Samardzic over time, right?
I
And
think he did take him all because I
yeah,
remember
Decathlon, Zaniolo, and Pasalic.
he definitely took out Ortegi and Lookman because I felt that one hard because they looked shit.
Yeah,
After those two guys went out, their attack looked terrible. And I mean, it made sense.
yeah.
And that's actually when the game was just given up at that point. Like you knew it was either going to end a draw, or Napoli was going to pull it off.
I mean, what a great play by well, great link up with Spinazzola and Anguissa. Great cross and awesome play by Lukaku. I mean, that's why you pay Lukaku the big bucks, okay? And he gets a lot of shit, and it's all completely unjustified. He's done an incredible
Mm-hmm.
job up front controlling the game. He's a total focal point. I mean, the link up play he's had with so many different players, he's such a great reference, taking people with him. I mean, you had
Yep.
two guys on him during the Politano goal, and Scalvini makes a whole mess of this.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he falls over. It's really weird.
It's
I don't know
funny.
what he's doing
These
there.
guys, that's what these guys do, man. Like any sort of contact, and they just fall down. And you know what, dude? The ref's not going to call it every single time. They'll call it 90% of the time. But like, what's he doing? What's he doing
I
there?
don't know. I want to see some fight, and
Yeah.
and I'm not seeing it. And I mean, I don't think you should have that mentality as like a youngster, like as a kid. You should be wanting to win everything. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That was pretty rough. The only good thing about Scalvini you can say is that he doesn't look too hampered by his injury. Let's give him some time. I know he's not back to his best, but I mean, he does not look like he's feeling that ACL at all. So that's a
No,
really good sign going
he looked
forward.
really good in the Juventus game. He looked good for a lot of parts
Yeah,
in this game too. I mean,
he did.
this is the number one team in the league that they're going against. Neres is an absolute monster. That guy's his little freaking juke outside the box to get out of trouble when they're in their own zone. That was
Hmm.
so dirty. What a beautiful freaking move.
Yeah,
Um,
he's one of those guys, and we say all the time, he just plays. Like
yeah.
he just plays. You know, he probably did like street ball when he was younger, but he's effective too. He's not doing it for show. He's playing.
Well, this is what
Cool
exactly.
player.
That's a good point right there. This is what I mean when Conceição needs his guys. Conte didn't was offered the job mid-season. He said, "I'm not. No, I won't join any team halfway through the season." And he brought in his guys. McTominay
And
was
they're all performing.
yeah.
They're all
McTominay
performing.
might have been the best player on the field. I mean he does not miss runs. But you know how Jerome was responsible for 2 goals. No one runs past McTominay. Picks everything up. He was on everything. A wall in
He's a
front of
true
his
box to box
defense.
man. He's a smart player. He's a
Yeah,
hard worker. He just gets the job done.
scores.
You know,
A wall in front of his defense. I mean, he was
he's not a sexy,
amazing.
flashy player. He just gets the job done. He's a very stereotypical Conte guy.
One of the best players, if not the best player on the field. And Neres, another Conte pickup. Just street ball. Just play. He's out there to play. He's every time he touches the ball, he's fast. He's dangerous. You know, he's lit up. Lukaku, gets the clutch goal. Spinazzola comes out there, you know, makes an impact. I mean, it's the guys that they brought in, battle tested, ready to play, ready to ball, and I think when we talked about Conceição, those are the kind of guys he needs a few guys like that. Like
Yep.
you get your
He
tone
needs some
setters.
battlers, man.
Yeah, because I mean, like this is the same Napoli team. Like okay, Meret was there last year. Rachmani, Di Lorenzo,
Laborca, yeah.
Oliveira, Lobotka, Anguissa, and Politano. Okay, that's what 6 of them. Six
Yeah,
players
but you
from last
need
year.
the new guys to instill the kind of Conte mentality, and then
Exactly.
it's easier for everybody else to just like pick up where they left off.
Yep. Exactly, and that's what they need at Milan. And Milan has a lot more class than, in my opinion. I think Leao and Teo, Leao, and Magnan are really, really
Yeah,
great
they're
players.
up there amongst like
Yeah,
the very best in their
Pulisic.
position in the world.
Yeah,
It's just they don't have an actual team. The team is poorly built. There's no identity. So,
yeah. You
but
need to bring in your some guys like these guys. But awesome match. I mean, probably my favorite game of the season. Really, truly,
yeah,
and I
it
looking
was
forward
a
to the next
really
one.
good game. Really good game,
Yeah.
and Napoli keeps cruising. Let's move on. We got Torino, Fiorentina. The
Oh my
big thing
God.
here is Fiorentina continues to fall. It's nice to see Moise Kean back on the score sheet, but man,
They dropped a lead to.
Fiorentina is just dying
They're
right
down
now.
10 men. It's the same problems. It's the same. It's the center midfield problem, and I think Oddly needs to ride the bench. Oddly was good when Bove was there,
No,
but
he can definitely go to the bench. The issue is you're gonna find the exact same problem. It's in my
Cataldi's the same
opinion,
player.
it's not a personnel issue. He needs to change it because the formation because of the personnel, and I don't think he needs to totally mix everything up. But the midfield shape has to be different. Same shit happened to Adrian Milan. They made him play D mid, and he can hack it here and there. He's not a D mid.
Oh no, he's
He's a
terrible on
center mid
defense.
or a cam. So you're
Yeah,
putting him in a position like that. And I mean, and honestly, like the pass from Kamutsa was just super dumb. Why would you put your player in a position like that? But he's young. You're gonna get mistakes. But it was still both parts, in my
yeah.
opinion, were very responsible.
Bad pass,
Dumb
no
pass, just
effort
boot it out of there.
to save your guy, and
Yep.
just in general all game, like there's just no center midfield. It's just vacant.
I don't know.
And
It's frustrating too, and like I know that they're both actually young, but it's like when you're making that pass, what are you gonna gain out of that pass? Like ration out in your head. Well, I could pass it to Oddly, and he might control it for a half second, and the guy's gonna be right on him, and maybe he'll pass it right back to
yeah,
me, or he'll do something magical. No, what could possibly happen good there? So don't pass it there or boot it out. And then Oddly doesn't run to it. He's waiting for it to come
he
to
just
him, and of
waits
course
for it,
it
man.
gets picked up. So
Yeah,
you give I don't know. It's really dumb, especially when you're up 1-0. I mean,
yeah.
super sloppy. Fiorentina is in a freaking free fall.
They are, and this is where you're going to find out how good of a coach Palladino is because they are. He has a young, inexperienced team that has some holes in it, and his older guys are not stepping up. The few older guys he's got, Goodmanson's still looking shitty after his injury. He does not look like the Goodmanson that started the season.
No, he's not back yet. So I mean, the rest of the team has to carry.
Yep, Kopani just. I, I don't give a shit about the out of position thing. I think that's such a poor argument. Kopani just isn't doing what he needs to do. It's not that difficult to play it where he is compared to where he was.
It's not. He's just
You know.
not effective there
Yeah.
because it requires a little bit more like work rate. And I mean, to
Yeah.
play wide like that, you need good work rate, but you also need a little bit more like pace and agility
It's
out wide. If you're in tighter, you can just be a little smarter, a little more slick, and that's what he's good at. So I don't know. I think
it's
it
not
is a
that
mix
bad
of
though.
each, to be
He's
honest with
got the
you.
overlap coming from Dodo. Dodo puts in the work on the sideline. Like
Yeah, I
he's just
guess
having
you're
a bad
right. I mean, he
season.
can tuck in. Yeah, he's not playing well.
No, he's just not playing well. And
What was
he's got the skills. Like he has the technique is there. His decision making, his like confidence, he's just not very direct. Or like
yeah.
he'll be making a run at goal and then he'll like turn away and it's like it's a confidence issue and I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, he's been a big disappointment because I really like him as a player and I think he has the good technical ability, but
Yeah, I mean,
it's just not
he's
working.
still new there, so we'll give him some more time.
Yeah,
Hopefully something
I
gets
mean
figured out
it's almost
formation
all
wise. I think there's a
season.
lot of stuff you can do.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, what's Palladino going to do here, man? Because I mean, Keane's still playing well. Keane's chipping in goals with this team, but this is a 10-man Torino, and they were down to 10 men at what? Yeah, how early did that happen? I mean, I think that was first half. Yeah, 33
I
minutes in the
think
game.
I think they should do something a little bit different if they want to keep the four-man back line. Run a 4-3-1-2. Just put Kopani in the hole. Put Goodmanson up top with Keane.
Hmm.
And then you have three people in midfield. You can actually put, Oddly as a center
But
mid. You can
who's the deep
have
man?
You got to
Mondragon?
buy D mid. That's all. No, no, no. You have to get one right now.
Yeah. Well,
Nobody can
that's
do
what
it.
they should have bought, but they bought Falaruncho, another attacking mid.
It's kind of weird. It's like he's more like I mean I don't know. Isn't he work at a pure center mid though, like box to box type of guy?
No, no, he's attacking mid to me. I mean, he's silky, skillful.
I'll admit
Um,
my Fuller and Show watch profile is not that big. I haven't been sitting here watching Fuller and Show for a long time, but I
right,
thought he was more like a center mid. I thought
right.
what he was trying to do with him is he was trying to say, "Hey, you're gonna be my new Bove." That's not gonna work. They're different players.
Yeah, they're definitely different players. Bove is a much harder worker. Bove is a much better tackler. Folarincho's
Because you
got
see
some
how
more
they're lined up,
technique.
right?
Yeah,
Like they put him like out wide, which like they would do it to Bove, and he's not a winger, but Bove would then cut into the midfield and help out there too, which you're not going to get that from Fuller and Show. So
he
it's not the same player. You
no,
can't do it.
it's not. He likes that. He likes the idea of his side mids. It's almost like running all attacking mids across that line because he has so much overlap coming from the wing backs. But it's I don't know. It's just not good. And like Sotil was playing well. See, Sotil was one of your best players. When Bove went down and Sotil came in to play that winger, he's been doing well. Now you're putting Folarincho there. I just think he's making some panic decisions. His center midfield is a major problem, and they
It's
don't
also
really have
just
a
a
solution
sloppy
for it.
buy.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
pretty
just
sloppy buy. They really needed to be buying a D mid, a
yeah.
straight up D mid. But hey, we'll see what
Well,
happens.
the
But
sad
there's
thing is, I think they own Bianco, and he's not maybe a D mid, but he's an actual hard worker and can tackle. And that'd be a good guy to just start running around their
wing
central
back or
midfield
something.
right now. Yeah, they
Yeah,
could
and
really
I know
use
we
that.
talk about them also owning Amrabat too, is actually D mid, but
Amrabat is
I
on a
don't
loan
know
with
the specifics.
obligation. I looked into that
Oh, so
today
he's
actually.
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
there then.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He's
All
done.
right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, let's move forward. Parma Venezia, 1-1, Hernani and Poyampalo. So not much movement there. Then we go to Cagliari Lecce, which was an absolute blowout by Cagliari.
Yep.
They've been playing pretty well, man. Cagliari is having they'll have some pretty solid games here and there. I mean, they're not an amazing team, but they've got a couple really nice players on that lineup. Yeah, domination.
Well,
Lecce just got smoked again. So
Lecce's a pretty usually a pretty good defensive team. Um, yeah,
they
but
have their stinkers though. They really do.
they do. And after the red card, I think that's when they let the other two goals in. But yeah, it did. Yeah, it's 73 minutes was the red card, and then 80 and 83. But yeah, they just laid an egg.
Yeah, even though I'm not like very much into that game, it has big implications for the relegation zone because
Yeah,
now Lecce is only 1 point above the drop zone. I mean, Cagliari is only 1 point above Lecce, so they're close. But Cagliari was in that drop. So I mean, you take 3 points away from them, they have 18 points. They're in 18th place, so that's a big win for Cagliari, and a pretty big loss for Lecce. We move
oh
on
definitely
to Lazio Verona, another team like Fiorentina who has to get their mojo back. Well, Lazio's doing it. They got back with a
big
big
time.
3-0 win, and they looked good the whole time. They definitely dominated.
Yeah, they looked great. I mean, this is yeah, they had their mojo back this game for sure. So they just got to keep this going. Um, but yeah, when you play against Verona, you had a you're in a rough patch. What do? You kick their ass, and they came on. They kicked their ass. It was beautiful. So yeah, glad Lazio's getting it together here because I like when Lazio's on. They're a
Yeah,
fun
no,
team to watch.
they're a good team. They're definitely a very entertaining team to watch. But the big story is just hey, they got their mojo back. We'll see what they do now. I think they have Fiorentina next, so it's like the battle of the two teams who need to
Oh
get their stuff back. So,
God,
uh,
Fiorentina's in a rough patch. I don't see how Fiorentina comes through with this.
yeah, I'm gonna agree with you there. We move into the last two games of this before we do our preview. We have Inter Empoli. Same thing. Inter has continued to put the pressure on the top. They win 3-1. Goals from Lautaro, Dumfries, and Thuram. Another goal from Empoli from Sebastian Esposito. I thought it was a very
Hmm.
good goal, actually, too. Did you see that goal?
Oh yeah, he's this guy's good, man. And another guy
Really
owned by
good goal.
Inter, so well, there you go. But I mean, he's good. His younger brother's good. No, I think this Esposito kid's the real deal. But the scary thing for Serie A and the scary thing for Napoli is that I think Lautaro is back.
Yeah, he almost went down with, and was like relatively concerning that he's going to go out, but he ended up staying in, so he's all right, which was good news for Inter, bad news for Serie A, of course. I mean, actually, it's good news for Serie A if you're rooting for them to progress in Champions, but
I am. Yeah,
for
I
the
want them to do well
opponents
in
rather.
Champions League. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
for the
don't.
opponents.
Yeah, this is primo calcio, not primo Juventus. I want them to do best for um, uh, Italy. I think they have the best chance for Serie A as a representative in Champions League. So it'd be nice to see Lautaro you know, get back to his best. But no, I'd like
Hmm.
to see Napoli win the Serie A, and I'd like to destroy Inter when we play them heads on. But right now, Inter, they're the best team in the league.
They are keeping
Absolutely.
pace, man. They're
Yeah.
like Napoli keeps putting the pressure on. It's a big win over Atalanta. Inter is just keeping pace,
Yeah.
and I think Inter has Lecce next. Napoli has Juve next, so this
Juventus.
could be very similar. Napoli's got the big game. Inter just has to kind of keep it going. Inter does have a game in hand, which if they win it, they'll be tied on points, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Let me check here.
Yeah. They'll be
Yeah, they'll be
tied.
tied on points. So it might become a two-horse race pretty soon if Atalanta doesn't stay on really good form the next few matches. If the next two don't go Atalanta's way and Inter Napoli hold form, it's probably gonna be a two-horse race.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a two-horse race, really. I think that was a big loss for Atalanta there. I think a draw would have kept both of them in it, but no, I think it's a
Yeah.
two-horse race. I think
Well,
the real test is going to be can Inter handle the both competitions because I think their
yeah.
bench is not very good. Their midfield backups are weak. Their striker backups are weak. I mean, their defense and wing backs are good, but yeah, they definitely have drop
I don't
offs.
know, man. I don't even think they have a great defense. Like I'm not convinced by almost any of them. I'm not convinced by the Vrij. I've always thought he's been an overrated player. He's fine. He's just an overrated player. Um, Pavar's all right. I'm not never been convinced. I think B6 okay. Like I don't think they have any standout like top notch. Wow, look at this great defender. Bastoni is definitely far and away their best overall defender. That's about it, man. Like I'm not
Yeah,
super impressed with Inter's back line in general, but they have a great system, so those guys look a little bit less exposed. But if I was Inter, I think they actually need to spring for like one really promising center back. So it's time for Beppe to get to work. I think they have to make a signing in each position that has some nice clout to move forward. So they have to start planning for the future now because
yeah, it's
Inter's starting to look maybe not old, but they're starting to look a little bit dry.
well, and Beppe, he got a lot of praise, and I know everyone says he's the best, and I think he probably is the best. But I don't think he's done an amazing job with reinforcing Inter over time. I
No,
think that
not at all.
I think the guys he's brought in, the best guys are still the guys that were here when Conte was here, with a couple exceptions. Shalanoglu brought in on a free, right? That was an
Yeah,
excellent play,
Thuram was a great
move.
signing, of
Yeah,
course. Yeah.
Thuram on a free, and Mkhitaryan on a free, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, after that era, like where's Aslani? Where's Taremi? Why do you not have backups for your forwards? Why do you not have backups for your midfielders? I mean, he's super shrewd, and there's always guys available on freeze, and um, you know,
Yeah, like a year left on the contract, so that and yeah,
yeah,
there's always stuff to do. But I just think it's time for Inter. I think they're really gonna struggle when they're gonna have to start playing Champions League, and really if they're gonna go for it, because I've always said from the start, I think they're gonna push harder for Champions League because they just won the 20th Scudetto. So I
yeah,
think that if anything, they're gonna want the Champions League more. So I think that you're gonna start seeing them break a little bit, and Atalanta has to manage two things too, and that all leads me to saying, hey, I do think Napoli, in my opinion, even for the start of the season, was a little bit favored to win Serie A only because of Conte. I would say that with no other coach, any other
yeah,
coach goes into Napoli, they're not winning the league because it's Conte, because he doesn't have Europe. I think Napoli was always kind of going to be either one or two, and they might pull ahead if they can get through this next month and a half. We talked about this month
yeah.
and February being just really hard fixtures for them.
It
They get
is.
through there, Napoli's winning this Scudetto.
Oh yeah, yeah. If at the end of February Napoli's still in the lead, it's I think it's over. But no, I'm concerned about Inter's ability. Yeah, they're going to probably have to pick one at some point because their bench is just poor, and it's a shame that Fratesi didn't work out there. I don't know why, because I think he
He
seems like
doesn't
he
even
would
really
fit.
get minutes.
No, he doesn't
Yeah,
even play. And
no.
when he does, he's like he'll hit like a post, and that'll be his
I
contribution over
think the
40
problem
minutes.
is Inzaghi requires a little bit more true like dual work with both defense and offense. And Cortez's not the best at defense. He works hard, but he's not as defensively sound as Mkhitaryan. He's definitely not as defensively sound as Barella. And he'd play in one of those two spots. So
Right.
he doesn't cut it for Inzaghi, I think, as far as that goes. He's really good at making late
Well,
runs into the
Zelensky
box,
isn't either
scoring
though.
goals.
Zelensky's really
No,
bad at
no,
defense. He's
he has
worse.
not worked out well. He has not worked out well there.
Yeah. So like, you got basically two attack leaning
Zelensky,
central
Asllani,
midfielders.
and Fratesi have not worked out, which is
Right.
basically half of their midfield. Like I mean, that's why
It
their
is.
depth
Yeah.
sucks in midfield. They need somebody there now.
Yeah, and this is the problem with with system coaches. You know, they're not going to change. So, and you shouldn't. If your starting 11's that good, you know, here's your system. You got to find guys that are a little more box to boxy, I think. And even though they're free, and dude, they actually paid a pretty penny for Taste. Was that 35
Cortez was like
million?
40 mil or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
and
So
and I
like,
think that people were trying to go after him, but they're setting the same price. Like you're not touching him for 35, 40 mil. Nobody's paying that.
right?
Like nobody's gonna pay that for him after he has not been basically playing. He hasn't been having a good season,
Yeah,
I mean, and we know he can't cut it as like a more defensive style player. So you're really just gonna put him as like a CM who can also attack, and that's it.
yeah.
So nobody's paying 35, 40 mil for Tessie.
I mean, in my opinion, you know, if Inter's starting lineup is in form, fresh, rested, no one's that's the best team in the league, no doubt about it. Their starting 11 is absolutely the best. I think that it's you know Napoli did a great job when they played them last time, but it's you know they're just a very I think they're the class of Serie A for sure. The
Yeah, they
issue
need to stay
is
healthy though,
yeah, they
big
need to
time.
stay healthy, and they've got you know with the multiple competitions they lack depth. Like truly, they take a drop off when they start rotating players. So,
It's pretty big.
yeah, I think they're gonna have to pick a competition at some point. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean they were doing great in the Champions League so far. So I think that besides
Yeah,
that one stinker
which we
they
do
laid.
have games coming up. So let's
Yeah,
get into our
yeah. What do we
preview. We
got?
got the next week of Serie A. Let's go there first. Then we'll end
Okay.
with Champions League, and we'll call it a day. Torino, Cagliari.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go with the draw here because Torino is one of those kind of surprise teams that have an off game and then a good game,
Hmm.
and Cagliari is the same way. They could surprise you. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw.
Okay. I will go with a 1-1 draw because I think there will be a draw. Como
Como
Atalanta.
Atalanta,
Como has been playing really well.
very well.
I think that they
Oh wait a minute,
are.
wait we didn't finish. Como smoked Udinese 4-1 today.
They did. It was a very strange game. I watched that match. The red card given to Como was the first red card, right? It was so bad.
Whatever the first red card was, I remember being like that should not have
It
been.
was
It
a
was. I
joke.
think it was Como because it was Goldeniga.
Yeah,
So yeah,
Golden
it
Eagle.
was it was not a real
What
red
a
card.
terrible, terrible card. I mean, I know it's 25, but 2025. That's just ridiculous. That's there
Yeah,
has
I
to be
mean, you
some.
probably should go back and VAR that, and
Yeah,
then like you should be able to correct that. I'm not sure what rule prevents you from correcting a red card, but
yeah. I mean, with something like that. Yeah, you should definitely go review that, and I
yeah,
think that ref should get a reprimand. That's what a dumb match. I mean,
bad
two red
choice.
cards in the
Yep.
game. Yeah, I mean, like just
Mm-hmm.
whenever I see something like that, I'm just like, God, this is a mess.
Yeah.
But no, Como's been doing really well. They definitely need to tighten things up defensively if they're going to get serious. But Fabregas
Yeah,
has done a good job with
they
those guys.
brought in what
Oh, I love
Kakare,
Kakare. Kakare is an awesome player.
right? Yeah, they
Excellent
brought in
choice.
Kakare. So and then I mean they got a lot of talent on the team. It was also really nice just to see Nico Paz come back in today. So his injury is not that bad. He got on the
Yes.
score sheet too. I mean Como did look the better team.
Yeah.
I thought Udinese they can surprise you. I mean they've been like kind of like a bogeyman team for some teams. They just didn't have a good game either. So I mean, Como deserved the win. They've been playing a lot better.
Yeah.
Fabregas has them kicking. So Como's been looking a lot better the past 3 or 4 weeks here.
I would like to say a couple things. So like Biol, this guy that's like Bijol, whatever you say, you know, he's been scouted by a few of the top teams. I think this guy is ass. I mean, this guy's good for like a couple key mistakes a game. I I I would stay away. I would avoid. Payero looks really good. The central midfielder from Udinese, definitely active. Always, you know, he does a lot of work. I don't think he's going to be any kind of world class player, but he's a solid work rate guy who always seems to have an impact. And Luca has looked good, man. He does make a difference when he's out there.
Yeah,
I
he
think
does.
he's just so big and so gumpy, but he's powerful and he does. You know, he's huge.
He's a presence.
Yeah,
He's a presence. Udinese definitely looked better with them on.
yeah,
They got a little burst when they put him on, and then he kind of faded.
yeah,
But no, he's been good. And he's young, man. I think
yeah.
Luca is a good pickup for a lot of teams at this level because he's reasonably priced right now.
Yeah, whenever I watch matches like that, that's usually what I'm trying to see. I'm trying to watch a couple key players.
That's right.
You don't really
Yeah,
see if they're, everything they're cracked up to be. Like when, I was watching, Empoli. I'm trying to see how good, this Ismaili guy is. This, who's the Georgian that plays next. So I think the Georgian kid's a very poor player. I would stay away.
Vidi,
Vidi looks really good. I like Vidi a lot.
Bokalidze, and Ismaili are the three
Yep.
backs for Empoli.
Ismaili's a good solid back. He does make a lot of mistakes, but it's 2025. All these center backs do. I mean, you can't find a guy that's an actual good defender anymore. But he's definitely experienced, and he's got two kids next to him too, so he's doing a lot of extra work. He's got a 22-year-old and a 20-year-old next to him. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
and Vidi has been looking really good. So I like those two guys on Empoli. Fazzini looks good in spurts. He definitely has some skills, but
In
it doesn't.
spurts for sure. Yeah, I'm not overly impressed with him. He's got some skills, but I'm not overly impressed with him right now.
Yeah, its skills are great, but at that level, you probably should have those. I am looking for game impact. I'm just not seeing
Yeah,
good enough
it's
game
not it's
impact.
not like he's like 18 years old, you know.
No, he's not. Yeah, that's the thing. I'd like to see more game impact for someone like him if he's supposed to be some
But
midfield player.
we'll see where he
But
goes.
Esposito looks really good. I like him. Yeah,
I agree. That's one of the more promising youngsters.
yeah. All right, let's
All
see
right,
the predictions,
let's
right?
move forward. Or
Como
actually, sorry, yeah,
Atalanta.
prediction.
Como
What do you think's gonna happen
Atalanta.
with those
I think
guys?
Atalanta gets it back. I think Atalanta
I do
goes.
too.
I think Atalanta goes 3-1.
The only thing that might throw a wrench in this is Como's at home, and Como's home form has been very good. Their
Very
away
good.
form has been
Yeah.
pretty trash. I still think Atalanta's gonna win it. I think it's gonna be 2-1 or 3-1 Atalanta.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. 3-1, 3-2 maybe. Because Atalanta does
Uh,
have some shitty defense.
they do. Biggest game of the week.
Yes.
There's two big games this week, but this is by far the biggest one. Juve Napoli.
This game screams 1-1.
Yeah, Juve goes back to tying ways.
Yeah, and Napoli. So sooner or later, Juan Jesus is going to hurt him, right? I mean, sooner or later. I
Maybe
mean,
not.
Juan Jesus has been awesome. I mean, he's been. So what did I say against who was it? Hellas Verona before last week. Hellas Verona got totally dominated by Napoli, but in the counterattacks that they had, they looked extremely dangerous. I think Napoli is going to have a totally different game plan they did against Atalanta. I think they're going to lock it down, absorb everything from Juventus, and hit Juventus in the counterattack because they know that's where they're going to get them. And that's where Juventus is the most susceptible. That's how we've
Definitely.
lost to
And
teams like
if
that
you
all
got
season.
Gosti plus Kalulu, they're
Yeah,
both gonna play higher up,
yeah,
and yeah, that's where you can get them for
yeah,
sure. No,
yeah.
I mean, if that's the case, Napoli might walk out with a win, but
They might. Yeah,
I'm actually gonna go with you. I'm gonna go draw here. I don't know if I think it's gonna be 1-1. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
with you. I think I'm gonna match your prediction. Empoli Bologna.
I think Bologna keeps going. I think Bologna goes. I think it's a 3-2 game.
I'll go 3-1. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think Bologna pulls it off for two.
yeah.
Milan
Bologna's struggling.
Parma.
Uh, 2-1 Milan. Parma's crazy. They're going to score. They're going to leave room for Milan. They're not going to park the bus. Parma makes the mistake of letting teams play, and that's great and everything. You pat yourself in the back. You can feel real good about yourself, but it's not a winning strategy, especially when you don't have the talent to pull it off. So I
No,
think I
yeah,
think yeah, you're not gonna if you let a team like Milan actually play and you don't just park the bus, you're just doomed. So I think yeah, Milan 2-1, 3-1.
yep.
I don't know.
I was gonna go like a 3-1. There's a world I could see a crazy 3-2, like a busy game, but I'm gonna go Milan 3-1.
Plus, I mean, Milan's going to bounce back after shitting the bed against Juventus. I mean, I think Juventus really bounced back after getting slapped by Milan in that Copa. I think that was an embarrassment for them because the way they lost the league was. I think Milan's going to do the same thing. They know they laid an egg.
Yeah.
They didn't show up, and they're going to be like, all right, screw you. We can still make a push for Champions League. Let's go.
Yep. Roma Udinese. I think that
Ooh.
Roma is going to continue their form, although we all know it's dependent upon Dybala. I think they're going to continue it. I'm gonna go with the 2-1 Roma.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing. That this could be a tough game for Dybala though, because Udinese does clog that midfield,
They do.
and they could definitely um, just kind of neutralize Dybala a little bit.
Udinese could definitely even sneak a win here. I mean,
Yeah,
it's highly possible. This game I'm not very confident on, but I'm gonna go 2-1 Roma.
yeah, I would definitely, yeah, 2-1 Roma, but yeah, this could be a trap.
Lecce Inter.
3-0 Inter. I don't think
I
Lecce will
was gonna
score.
go the exact same thing. I was gonna
Yeah,
go 3-0 as well. So
yeah,
we'll
3-0.
just stick with that. The other big game from this week, the two struggling teams, one is starting to find form again, but it's early, and then the other is not at all. Lazio Fiorentina. I'm going to ride that exact wave and say Lazio is going to pull it off, but it's going to be a game. I'm gonna go 3-2 Lazio.
Three
It's gonna
two.
be a bit of a shootout. Yeah.
Yeah, I say 2-1. I don't think it's going to be a shootout, but you might be right with the way Fiorentina's been leaking goals lately. They went from having one of the best defenses in the league to now what are they like fourth place in goals conceded? Uh,
Fiorentina's goals conceded is, let's see, goals against is 21. It's gonna be Napoli at 14,
Fourth. They're
Inter at
tied for fourth with
18, Juve
Milan.
at 17. Yeah, Milan and yeah.
So they still have the fourth best defense in the league, and that just goes to show how good their defense was early on. And yeah, because they've been leaking them. But yeah, we'll see. I think 2-1, man. I don't know. I mean, Lazio with Lazio struggles against teams that park the bus, that load up the box and defend. They struggle to score that way, but Fiorentina does not do that. So I think there'll be opportunities for them to score. So maybe you're right. Maybe they'll get three. Who knows?
I'm looking at like a 3-2. I mean, Lazio's defense. I mean, they got 28 goals scored on them. They're kind
Yeah,
of like mid pack as far as they definitely don't have any type of lockdown lead. That's for sure.
yeah.
Um, so
Yeah, they
yeah, that's where I
definitely
go.
their issue is they get caught out a lot. They get caught like just being over aggressive, especially with their wingers, and they Romagnoli's not very fast to be doing that kind of stuff.
No,
But you know
no.
he's been good though this season. So I've always liked
Yeah,
Romagnoli. I think he's
he can
solid.
definitely organize that defense. I think the
Yeah,
team is better when he's in it.
yeah,
Rather
definitely.
than who's the other guy that goes like Gigo or something like
Shigo,
that.
Shigo, yeah,
Yeah. All right, Venezia Verona. I will go I guess I'll go 1-1 tie or maybe 2-2.
yeah. I
I'm
mean,
gonna go tie here.
Suslav's been looking pretty good for Verona. He's a player I like to watch on that team. Same with Gilardi. I think Coppola's overrated, by the way. But Suslav's looks pretty good. I'm actually gonna go with Verona 2-1.
Gotcha. All right, and then the very ending game is Genoa versus Monza. I'm gonna say Genoa is gonna take this one. They're gonna get back to winning ways here. I'm gonna go 2-1.
I'm saying the same thing, 2-1 Genoa.
Yeah, I don't think Monza is gonna do much at all.
No.
Let's do a little quick Champions
Yeah, real
League.
quick.
So I'll go to the upcoming matches here. We'll cover just the Serie A matches. So, um, I guess today because we're casting real late. So as
Yeah.
today's such tomorrow. So Tuesday, Atalanta versus Sturm Graz. I think Atalanta has to pull this one off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 3-1
Yeah.
Atalanta.
Yep. Yeah, sure. I mean, 5-0. Who knows?
Juve Club Brugge.
I mean, this is one. So, uh, Juve's main goal
Oh
right
wait,
now is to finish top four. Okay, so I don't know what Mota's going to bring out in the starting lineup because we don't have backup center backs right now. And I couldn't give two shits about the Champions League because, quite frankly, if we don't qualify for Champions League, the whole thing's blown up. Like, there's not enough money to pay off the debts we have with loans and all this other crap. So, I would be very cautious if I was Mota
yeah.
about.
Let's be real. Juve is
Yeah.
not winning the Champions League.
No.
I think that it's just important that they qualify for the next round
Yes.
financially, and after that, it doesn't
We're already
really matter.
qualified technically. It just a matter. The only difference is it's a matter of if we have to do like a playoff or something. I think we're
Then
already in.
yeah,
I
yeah.
would.
I mean, I don't know if it's a final, like if they like lost out, but I mean, yeah, I think they're pretty much
We
good.
should be able to beat Bruges with our backups. We really should. So yeah, I'd say Juventus, and it's going to be ugly, 1-0, something like
It's
that.
gonna be ugly. I'm gonna go 2-1. It could be a little one. Yeah, what could be like a close 1-0. There's a possibility of a tie, but I think you guys gonna eke it out.
We've
Do a one
done
goal win.
we've done well. We really want to. About locking things up, like the Aston Villa game, Man City game. We want to lock things up against these foreign teams. They're just not used to it. Just the commitment to dragging out a scoreless draw, and I wouldn't be opposed to that ideology here either, because we're going to get chances no matter what. It's Bruges. We're going to get chances. So I don't know. I would take a really cautious approach. I'd play as many backups as we possibly could, and we have a major game coming up this weekend, and
Yeah, of course. Bologna, Dortmund. Bologna has really nothing to play for here.
oof.
They're not making them, and they're pretty much bottom of the table there. I think it's gonna be 2-2 tie. I think they'll get something out of
Really?
this, but I don't think that they'll win. But yeah, I think it's gonna be 2-2 tie.
Is this at Bologna?
It is at Bologna. Yep.
Well, the Dortmund fans do travel well. I think they're like the best traveling fans on the planet. But yeah, no, I don't see Bologna winning this game. I think it's probably 2-1 Dortmund. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean Dortmund is not having a good season though. I mean Dortmund does not look like the same Dortmund. Dortmund is in 10th place. Their
Yeah.
last three matches have been losses. Like Dortmund doesn't look good, so it's not like, oh man, it's the Dortmund
Yeah.
that we
True.
saw, in years past. So this is a Dortmund that's kind of in poor form. It's a Bologna in good form. I think Bologna might
I
even
like
be
it.
able to sneak a win out, but I'm gonna go with the tie 2-2.
I hope they can get a win here because it's good for Serie A. But
Yeah, it's
yeah,
good for Syria, but yeah, I think it's gonna be a tie. But yeah, I could see a world where Bologna wins. We go into our last two teams. It is the Milan teams. You have Inter versus Sparta Praha. I think Inter is going to clean that one up. I'm
yeah,
going to go with a 2-0. Could be 2-1.
they should absolutely clean that up. I 3-0.
What up, Milan Girona? What do you think about this one?
Well, 2-1 Milan. I think that 1-1 with a late goal to get 2-1 for Milan to win. Girona's not
Yeah, I
that
mean,
bad, but Milan make all
no,
the games
they're
tougher than
not
they
a
have to
great
be.
team though. I mean, it's
Yeah.
but yeah, it's I don't know. I think Milan's gonna pull it off. I'm liking a 2-1 or maybe like a late goal 3-1, but I don't know. There's a part of me that even though I think we should win that one, there's a part of me that just thinks Girona's gonna get something out of this game.
Oh God.
It's weird, but this two eighth place teams going up against each other. Milan and Girona both in eighth.
Oof.
Um, I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's the
I
thing.
just I have a bad feeling about it. Let me see.
Uh,
Is it at home or is it at?
yeah, it's at home. It's at San Siro.
It's at home. So okay, all right. Then I'll go Milan 2-1.
Yeah, I
If
think
there's
they'll
a
pull this
way,
off.
I don't know.
It's still, like the name still matters to me, even though it shouldn't. Like we were saying earlier, there was a fifth and eighth place match when we played Milan Juventus earlier. So I look at these matches like, oh yeah, Juventus should handle Bruges. You know, well, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. And then the game starts and it's at Bruges. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
who
they're
knows? Yeah,
they're a
I
fifth
see
place team.
Juve and Milan this week in a very similar predicament. They should clean up,
Yeah,
but they might not.
I think both teams will clean up. I do. I do. I'm a little nervous about
It's
what
good for the
Motta's
league,
gonna
man.
do with
I,
his
I hope they
players.
both do.
Yeah,
Hope they both do. Ah, that's it for the preview. We'll be
that's
back
it.
a little bit more midweek. We got some Champions League action coming up, so we'll try to get back with that as well as we did like the more deep dive with Juve. We're gonna do a deep dive with Milan, see what they could do this Mercato before it ends. That is it for me. Any final thoughts, Anth?
I have no thoughts.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for tuning in, and as always, Forza Calcio. Ciao.